Hello everyone and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're checking out something called Fuaim, F-U-A-I-M. This is an abstract game that is apparently set in a multiverse of stars. I don't know what to make of that exactly, but we're going to check it out because you know I can't do more than a few days of semi-serious regular indie game coverage without trying something that's just bizarre and different. And I'm actually already getting a little bit of a feeling for what maybe this might be. So we're using WASD to control this little blob of color, which seems to be dragging another blob of color behind it. And as we hold down the button for longer periods of time, we seem to establish some sort of velocity, which is allowing us to move from one platform to the next. We can also jump by pressing W. Yeah, A and D are your left and right, of course. There were some words here. I believe the title was on the top, but then there was some other word on the bottom, which I didn't get a chance to really look at. Turn. Sound. Okay, sound. And I don't know if it bears mentioning if this is, you know, a point that even needs to be mentioned, but the title of the application is actually white noise. So I don't know if that was just left over from a template, or if they intended that to say that, or what. Anyway, I just found that kind of interesting. I thought worth mentioning just briefly. Falling stars set to the sky and pass until they are lost, slipping under forever. Kind of difficult to read, but at the same time a very cool effect. I actually really like the aesthetic going on here. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of the pink in the background, but I really like this really washed, like watercolory vibe with these pastels and interesting transitions, and then the way that the whole thing is moving is really not something I'm used to seeing. And then the way that you move your character also is another thing I'm not really used to. An expedition planned. Alright. What's this say? I'm actually turning my head a little bit. Redefine something. Maybe that's part of the fun, is figuring out how to read these texts. Crates of malice. Crates of malice! Okay. No, go back this way. And then there's like these weird sound waves that keep hitting over everything. Redefine the globe, that's what it is. Alright, so we're just supposed to be reading as we continue forward here. Pay careful attention to the background, by the way, because there's some pretty interesting effects going on with distance, with all these little bubbles that look almost like drops of water that are all set to crazy rainbow psychedelicness. It's very disorienting. Oh man, I can't really keep reading this. I will fill it in. It's very disorienting not knowing which direction is up, and on top of that having everything in the entire like perspective be moving around on its own. Nothing here. I ignored her. Okay, so we're doing some sort of an existential, symbolic, metaphorical reading. I had seen the child already. Once he had a name, I left. Okay, so we're going for the pseudotypical depressing indie game, unfortunately. I shouldn't say unfortunately. There's plenty of room for all sorts of visions, and when I make my own indie game someday, it's probably going to be pretty depressing as well, so I really shouldn't judge. And I don't even know that that's really the case. Maybe this is going to change. Across Oceanus. Okay. I just have a peeve about even like poetry. There's that style of poetry that they use the typography to make up where Hyperion dies lie our voyaging brothers. They make up the way that you're supposed to read it through the graphical way that the words are put down on paper, and I've never been a huge fan of that style. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. They watch the same night. Oh, another one. I am driven by such dreams. At least they number them. Be they horn or ivory, every man... I don't know what that is. Jumbled characters. Unto themselves. I am glad at least the camera is making this make a little bit more sense. I mean, if you ever want to feel disoriented, this is a pretty good format for you to feel that way. And I'm sure there's some sort of symbolic reason we're dragging around another, like, duplicate clone of ourselves. Without Bay, we won't have explosions in our movies? I don't know. I'm still working on this myself. Oh, that's where we just came from. Can you see why it's disorienting yet? There is also some lovely music playing, I should mention, and it's actually, like, I keep saying that it's disorienting, but really it's actually pretty cohesive. I'm just being a little bit of a whiner at the moment. We are compelled to each other. I think that said compelled. I don't know, I think we're moving away from that now. Doomed to circle from afar. Okay, so I'm guessing we're getting some sort of a picture of a father who gave his child up for adoption and misses them in night on the 6th day. And now we've got, this looks almost like a Hello Kitty lunchbox from the early 90s. Although maybe that's intentional, who knows. Or Lisa Frank, right? That's the one. Made all the wacky colors and glitter happen in that era. I'm very interested by where these sound waves seem to be emanating from. I think there might be something to that. We floated on stars. The wind died. Hushed. I don't know which order I was supposed to read that in, but hopefully I don't need to keep saying that because I think you get the point by now. This star is very difficult to move around. So we're supposed to draw the parallel here of the father and the child being like orbiting planets, you know, pulled together by gravity, but they can't touch. You know, pulled together and pushed apart by the same force. I believe that's the metaphor we're going for. We floated on stars. I think we got to that part already. Okay, I'm actually really disoriented now. I'm not sure which direction to go in. Somewhere up there, maybe? Do one of these circles travel with me? Oh, maybe this is the right area here. So navigating this, as in life, is very complicated and very messy. So I have no problem seeing the supporting structure of what we're going for, and it actually makes a lot of sense from a story or gameplay, as it pertains to story perspective. What is that little thing? Looks like Gish, or like the head of a robot from, now the name's leaving me. I've so many indie games in my head now, like, half the time I go to pull a reference and I'm just getting, like, the wrong thing. Mechanarium, that's what I was looking for. I wish the background would change, though. It's like a nice idea, but I just don't like that particular color hitting so hard for so long. Alright, I don't like this, though, either. They've taken a stamp tool with whatever that shape was and used it over and over again, unless there's a reason for that, which there may be. The gods are something waiting for a chance to break through. I just don't like when you have to read stuff and you can't read it because it's obfuscated by the camera turning. I kind of went over this already, but it's confusing and it's frustrating, and I just want to be able to get your intended message without having to work for it, I guess. Like I said already, there are some actually pretty valid gameplay reasons why that might be. So, all things considered, if we were to take like a little mini, like, where are we at right now of this, I'd actually be saying that I'm actually quite enjoying it, despite my little complaints. They fill the void between us. It's certainly not traditional, I'll give it that. Between the abstract gameplay, the platforming, which is definitely a little different from what I'm used to, until we let them flow. And you can't lose, which is usually a good point for an indie game. You usually want people to see the whole story, right? If the game is more based on the art than it is dexterity of the player. That's what really, I think, is a transformative element. A lot of times you'll find games that really are more dependent on just progressing through an interactive medium over having the ability to interact with it properly. Oh, those look like weird candy corn. And I think that's one of the things I really like about indie games. Oftentimes it doesn't matter if you're good at them or not. Just that you care to hear the story. And I think that's I think what we need to really start emphasizing a little bit more in some of our approach, and I know this is becoming much, much more accessible now, but only like 5 years ago or so, I'd say that embracing this sort of a storytelling medium it wasn't frequently done. Not nearly on the level that it is now. I don't think you could very often just go, hey, I feel like playing a really strange, interesting art game today, and look online and go to, whatever your favorite game downloading site was at the time. It would probably be like File Planet or something, and go find a crazy art game like this. And, now we're here in 2013. I've done exactly that, and it feels great. I can't read that. We're still upside down. Can we turn the camera, please? Faces, no, almost. You're almost there. There we go. Faces stare, all men. I can't, well, see, on top of me not being able to read it because of the turning camera, you're also putting large elements of the foreground through your text. Have need. For all men have need of the gods. Alright. I am captive. Yes, well, that is true, I am. This music is reminding me a little bit of SAP. That's like P-S-A-P-P, I think is how you spell it. Really chill, like, electronic band. I think they're a band. It might just be one person, too. I'm not sure. But if you've never heard of them, you might want to check it out if you're into something that sounds similar to this. After 3 nights... Leander dived. Okay, I don't know what that means. Into the ocean and perished? Oh. Oh, geez. Are these supposed to look like pills? He was lost. Died in passion. They had moved. Ah. A branch was hung... Now I'm starting to get more frustrated than interested, because I don't even know where forward is anymore. I heard his love call. I'm not sure if I'm reading this in the proper order. Oh my god, it looks like Katamari. Or maybe they're gears. I'm kind of stuck, actually. Oh, don't do this to me, game. Seriously? Well, this is one thing that happens with crazy indie games pretty often. It seems that you just get horribly stuck in them, and I'm not sure what to do about that, because I can't move at all. None of the buttons do anything. So I will make a quick break and see if I can fix that. And unfortunately, just as I expected, I wasn't able to get myself to move, and I actually found myself having to press escape, which immediately drops us out at the desktop. And you know that is my pet peeve. I've said it 100 times. Developers, please don't make it so when you hit escape, you immediately quit the game. Just one little dialogue box saying, "Are you sure you want to quit?" is enough to tell me that pressing escape will quit the game, because half the time pressing escape opens up a menu, which may be critical to solving the problem that I was having that made me need to press escape to possibly quit the game. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. Just, please, no more of that. I know I can't get through to all of you, but it would just be absolutely wonderful if we could just have one prompt. I will try not to do that rant again in the future, though. I know I've done it a number of times on the show. So we're faced with a position now where we're going to have to crawl our way back through all of these elements. If I was playing this without trying to read all the text, I imagine I could probably do this pretty quickly. But at the same time, I also kind of don't want to spoil the rest of the story, because maybe it's actually kind of meaningful, and you might want to go through it yourself and see what you can take away from it on a more personal level. And it's not too often that you get to play a platformer that looks like you're inside a lava lamp, so kind of a nice thing to see occasionally. Something kind of different, something pretty to look at, and perhaps quite meaningful as well. I'm pretty sure that's what we're going for here. Oh look, I've achieved orbit. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was spot on with that metaphor, and I don't like to toot my own horn there, but I am like 90% sure that's where we're going with this idea. The whole planet's gravitational thing seems quite apt. And it's cool to see a developer conceptualize something like that and turn it into actual gameplay. That's so concrete, and I know we're using concrete in a not a literal sense here. Concrete but still pretty nebulous. So I don't know, I'm probably maybe like a quarter of the way back to where I was before, but I think we're going to wrap up the episode. I'll just keep going, and I will leave you guys the download link so you can go try this out for yourself, see what you get from it. And I would love to hear your opinions, as I always do in the comments. So I'd love to hear, if you get to the end of this, what you think of it, what you make of it, what the story did for you, how you feel about this camera moving around, how you feel about trying to read text that is constantly being obfuscated and obscured and turned sideways and all kinds of crazy business like that. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode on Fuaim. Thank you for watching, as always, and remember to head on over to the website, and I'll give you the abridged version today. It's www.indie-impressions.com. Check out all the videos, old and new. They're sorted by distribution method, by genre. They're all tagged pretty neatly, and there's also some forums over there, so you can perhaps meet some other interesting individuals. I know, I can't really say that in all seriousness. It's ridiculous. Individuals who may also be into indie games. How about that? And when you're done at the website, facebook.com/indieimpressions, I do the occasional contest or news update over there, so feel free to leave a like on that if you'd like to get every day's new episode delivered right into your Facebook stream. Makes it convenient for you. And of course, if you have any reason to contact me directly, at RockLeeSmile on Twitter is the quickest way to do it. I also have a contact form on the website, which is nice and convenient too. And then I take PMs via YouTube, Reddit, or Twitter. So whatever works, I am happy to accommodate. And of course, if you're an indie developer and you'd like to send me a build for your game for perhaps doing a video on the show, that would be a lovely thing, and I would love to talk to you. So please get in contact with me. Even though I still have an immense backlog, I'm working my best on it. We're going through at least a few developer requests a week, and if I haven't still gotten to your game, don't worry, I probably will in the coming weeks. We've just had a few that I had to touch on for various reasons, and then a couple that I couldn't pass up for my own sake, that were right up my alley that I needed to talk about. So that is going to do it for today. Make sure you come back again tomorrow for another awesome indie game. Thank you so much for watching, and I'd love to hear from you all. So have a good night, and take care now.